Yo, 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 what up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. I want to speak on Corey Holcomb and the 5150 show real quick. Um, there's a big fan base for the 5150 show. There's a big loyalty for the 5150 show. And I think his most loyal individuals that have been connected to 5150 is Craig and Darlene. And I think Darlene has been loyal to a fault. And Craig, he just, he's his own man, but it's his decision. He decides to stay connected with the 5150 show. From my eyes, from my view, I don't look at him like he's Corey's puppet, or like he'll just do some bug dancing stuff for him. But Craig is loyal to Corey Holcomb as well, to a fault. I just feel like Darlene sometimes she could be too loyal to it, and she can be mentioned in the she could have bad things said about her because of maybe some bad things that are stemming from Corey Holcomb. Now, let me speak on the positive I see in Corey Holcomb. First, Corey Holcomb is conscious. He's very aware of things that's going on. He's definitely aware of our history as melanated people, more than some of y'all out there. Some of y'all just like to just go with the flow and just stimulate the system and just be ignorant until y'all die. And I feel like Corey Holcomb, he's willing to sacrifice his life to stand up for what's right when it comes to the universal law. Not saying that he's a perfect man or like he's the most likable man. No. Do I look at him as like a leader or someone that would go down in history? No, but I don't know. That's to be determined. Sometimes people don't get appreciated until they're off this planet, and then they kind of really, really fully look at the contributions they made and what they said, what they stood up for. Dick Gregory is a great example. To me, he was a legend. Of course, he did way more things and accomplished way more things than Corey Holcomb. It's not even close. But Dick Gregory was considered controversial, crazy. He tripping, he just on it. But then after he died, all of a sudden people want to start paying homage and showing him respect. So I don't know what the full judgment on this earth is going to be about Corey Holcomb. But I'll say this. I can respect that he stands up and he speaks up for what is right, and he's not afraid to speak out on it. Now, this is the problem I have with him. This is the negative about Corey Holcomb. He's too arrogant. He's too egotistical. I have yet to see this man outright admit when he's wrong. When he might have went too far, said too much about another person to try to not even throw them under the bus, but to like just discredit them as a human being. Like he will fully ridicule them and act like he's judgment. Like everybody say only God can judge me. Well, Corey Holcomb be acting like he's God sometimes. Like he just, whatever he say it go, and that's law. And if you don't agree with it, you don't like it, then bye, peace out. So I just feel like Corey Holcomb too many times has burned too many bridges with too many people. And it's sad because he's done it on camera, where you see it, to where it's like, as a fan, you can't be that damn loyal to where you can't be like, all right, this nigga tripping. You gotta at least at one point in time be like, yeah, this nigga doing too much. Like he wrong on that. He went too far on that. He exaggerated on that. But that's what his problem is. His problem is when he falls out, or when he starts to have a problem with someone that he was cool with, he always try to crucify them on his platform to make sure that to try to make sure that these people don't have opportunities or they don't get gigs because of what he said about them. And that's not right. I don't care how if you like him or not. That shit is not right, what he's been saying and what he's been doing in regards to that. And if he don't fix that issue when it comes to burning bridges with other people, he's going to have a world of problems coming his way. And you know whose fault it's going to be? It's going to be his fault. Power of the tongue, right? Your tongue. What you say out of your mouth can and will have consequences. If you say it to the wrong people, especially if it's the wrong thing and you just, just want to say your side and you want to keep attacking them and you want to keep bringing them up, it's like, bro, just move on, level up. So like, you see what I'm saying? I'm a Libra, so I broke down both sides. The high of Corey Holcomb and the low of Corey Holcomb. He's going to have to find a way to come to a common balance in his life and try to right his wrongs, or at least try to, from moving forward, not, create more enemies, so to speak, and just focus on what his goal is, his purpose is, which is to speak up and bring forth, the truth, bring the history, the knowledge to the people. Because when he does that, I feel like his content is great. He's had a lot of great guests on there who be dropping gems, like real talk. But that does not justify or excuse when he stabs people in the back. And that's his problem. He's a backstabber. Corey Holcomb will backstab you. As soon as he falls out with you, it's like, damn, bro. Are you really? Seriously? You could have called me, my nigga. You could have said something. Why you gonna go on your platform on camera and just start blazing me, bro? So Corey Holcomb gonna have to fix that issue right there, dog. Or somebody's gonna fix him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that I think he was wrong in every situation, but I've seen where he was wrong, and I've seen where he would even go. I was seeing how he responds in the aftermath. He ain't so much throwing hands with nobody, but then as soon as they're not on his platform no more, or they're not around him, he want to speak down on them. So he got to fix, this repetitive disrespect of other people, other individuals who have feelings, who have, reputations as well, who have aspirations. And when you're interfering with that, you trying to take food out of their mouths. You trying to take food off their table, food out of their kids' mouths. Like, you got to be careful with that, dog. Nigga, you ain't that tight. You ain't that nigga, dog. Don't act like you that nigga, because you're not that nigga. First of all, you in foreign territory. You migrated to LA, which is my city that I was born and raised in. But at the end of the day, you don't really run it. We cool. It's like the West Coast, we accept everybody. I don't know why it's just people have their weird feelings about people on the West Coast until they come to the West Coast, and then they get humble and they start being on this high and just trying to get all the little opportunities out there. But real talk, you better learn how to respect the natives of Los Angeles, and you better learn the boundaries, the rules on the West Coast. The number one rule on the West Coast, the Bay Area too, Northern California, yeah, but especially Southern California, respect. You better show respect. You better respect your boundaries. You better respect your mouth. You better respect your actions, and you better respect the territory you in. Because unfortunately, it's not it's not nothing to brag about. But unfortunately, if you got the wrong colors on, you could lose your life. So you gotta still respect. When you go in the wrong hood, nigga pressure you better be respectful. Like, hey man, my bad, my nigga. Like, yeah, nigga, I ain't with that shit. If you don't gang bang, tell nigga you don't gang bang, and the niggas get on you about your colors, like, just tell them like, hey, I don't bang, bro. You know what I'm saying? But shit, yeah, respect your shit though. Y'all respect y'all hood, and you better hope that these niggas are cool that day, because they could be cool and they'll still press you. But if they on that shit, you in trouble. They might not even worry about if you say that. They just see you got the wrong thing on and you catch them on the wrong day, you might just get mollywopped. So Corey Holcomb, though, he's been, I want to say he's been given a pass. He's been definitely been uh, able to go to and from without any issues like that, because comedians really don't get pressed like that. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if you from there or not. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you ain't in the street stuff and involved in the gang stuff, you good. Or the drug stuff, you good. And Corey Holcomb stated himself. So I like the 5150 show. I've always been a fan of the fact that they can use that platform to bring certain people on and highlight certain things and that's going on in the world, or that is currently going on in the world. And they're pretty transparent, and the audience can definitely make their own assessments of what is said or done on that show. But like I said, the high of Corey Holcomb in that 5150 show is the fact that his purpose is righteous. He has a righteous purpose, but on the surface, in the lower realm of him, in the physical, he's disturbed in a way. He's too arrogant, he's too egotistical, and he does not care who he offends, and he does not care to apologize for who he offends. And that's the problem I have with him, y'all. And y'all need to have that same assessment. Y'all need to look at it that same way, because that's what I see. I can see the greatness in him, and I can see the Satanist in him. I'm just playing. No, he's not a Satanist, but he could definitely. I see the trouble in him, the problems in him. They can be fixed, but you don't want to keep opening up the wrong doors to violence and problems, because then once you start fixing your life, what about them doors that's open? If you ain't closed them doors, somebody gonna walk through that door eventually, and it might be somebody from your past. So you got to be careful. He got to right his wrongs in that regard. At some point, he got to use his platform to apologize to everybody that he may have offended or disrespected, and be genuine in doing that, and then fully, get that off his chest, and then carry on with his show, and then no longer repeat that same cycle of, as soon as he fall off with somebody, and I'm just gonna tell y'all so-and-so, like, damn, bro, chill. So long as he learns to slow down on that and kill that right there, I think things can get better for him, because that's probably why he hadn't gotten a lot of gigs. Like, he ain't no sellout, so we know he ain't gonna get certain Hollywood gigs anyway, but he could have gotten more opportunities had he not did certain things on TV, on screen, that other people that have opportunities to give him saw, and they probably was like, nah, this guy's a problem. We're not having. Look at it, he got a problem with somebody every week. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Salute to 5150 show. Salute to Corey. Salute to Craig, Darlene, and everybody other guests, even Marcus, you know what I'm saying? Everybody. But at the same time, Corey Holcomb has to right his wrongs, and he got to do right when he know he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? You offended these people. You've been disrespectful to these people. You never, a lot of times you wouldn't even call these people, have a conversation with them. You just use your platform to just crucify them. That's not right, bro. So until you get nailed to the cross, like you've been trying to nail these other people to the cross, you better try to do some good deeds with the people. You can do good deeds with your consciousness and the knowledge, but what about your relationships? People love to preach, and I'm going to leave out with this. I ain't trying to preach to y'all, but this is the last thing I'm going to say. When emotional intelligence was being trendy, we're not saying it's new, and we're not saying people weren't understood of that. It just wasn't using that term. But emotional intelligence was being preached a lot, especially by women and feminists, which I have no problem with. But this was what I was seeing and what I was telling myself. I was like, why people keep saying emotional intelligence? What about emotional control? A lot of people that's preaching emotional intelligence have no emotional control. So they look like hypocrites to me when they talk about, oh, he or she has no emotional intelligence. Really? So last I checked, emotions don't have intellect. Emotions can be is what you feel. Somebody can make you feel a way. They could do something to you, say something to you, and make you react. Are you intelligent enough to have control, restraint? Sometimes we aren't. Sometimes we don't. So don't act like you just so put together that you have all this emotional intelligence, that you have never lost control, which when it comes to your emotions. Shut the hell up and have several seats, please.